Yes, Judge. So she still owes 60 hours of community service, and she has a balance of $774 left in fees. However, she finished her DWI education class and she completed the term of the ignition interlock. She finished her victim impact panel live and her TAP.
What did the
And
TAP say? Any recommendations?
on her TAP, let me go into 1 second, Judge.
Ms. Romo, are you hearing all of this?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
And Your Honor, before you make any decisions, will you allow me to ask Ms. Romo a few questions and make a few suggestions?
I will, but I'm gonna have to put her under oath first. Ms.
Okay.
Romo,
Well, sir, Your Honor, if this is a compliance hearing,
I
we're
understand.
going to place defendant under oath. If she's not represented by counsel, is that
That may
Is that
be a little
kosher?
bit that may be a little bit problematic. That's why I'm a little reluctant to have you question her without counsel,
Well, Your
unless she's
Honor,
under oath.
Your Honor, if you'll allow me to, I can simply state my questions generally. If Ms. Romo wants to answer them, she may. So
Okay.
that the court has an idea of what it is that I would like to learn.
All right, Ms. Romo,
Yes, Your Honor.
I need you to understand that you have a continuing right to remain silent. And since this is particularly what's called a compliance hearing, that means that this is not a matter that we want to have testimony from you.
Okay.
So if you're asked any questions at all, you have the right not to answer them at this point, or you can tell me right now that you prefer not to answer any questions at all, period. But that's your call. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Edelman, you may go ahead and make your statements or questions or whatever
you,
you
Your Honor.
seek to do.
After reading the court summary, some of the things that stood out to me that I thought might assist the court in making a decision are how old Ms. Romo's children are, whether she receives any child support from the father of the children, what sort of family assistance she's able to marshal, and then what is she studying and how long has she been pursuing that education?
Okay. Ms. Romo, do you want to give us any of that right now?
I can give you education information, personal information. I just prefer to stay quiet.
All right.
Understood.
I'm
Go ahead.
studying criminal justice, and in August I will be there 1 year.
You will what?
I'm studying criminal justice at the moment, and I will be there 1 year in August.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And where's this at?
St. Philip's College, Martin Luther King Drive.
Yeah, I know where it's at.
So, Your Honor, the suggestion that I would make to the court is that if Ms. Romo can produce documentation substantiating the hours that she is enrolled at St. Philip's, I would recommend that those hours be applied towards her community service hours.
It's a very wise suggestion. I know we've done it before, and I think it's a good idea because it encourages people first to get their education, and secondly to pursue it with diligence, because it has more than educational value. It's also got value with the community. So, Ms. Romo, can you document for us, if you choose? We're not ordering you to at this point. We're just offering to give you credit against the 60 community service hours that you're pursuing or that you're required to do.
Okay.
How many hours have you completed now that by August? I realize it may have been interrupted with this COVID thing.
Yes, definitely. It's been interrupted, but I had to withdraw from my college algebra math due to me not having the assistance, the help of like learning. It's really hard for me to study my math alone. But I did pass my criminal justice class, and I can prove that.
How many
Yes,
hours have you completed?
Total right now, I haven't looked into my account, but I'm sure quite a good amount. I'm not sure, but I can look in there later and try to print something out for you.
Well, if you'll share that with your supervisor, the
My
probation
probation
supervisor.
officer?
Yes. Uh,
Okay,
we will go ahead and Ms. Luna, make sure that we credit the lady for those hours that she's pursuing. Well, the hours she's completing
Okay, Judge.
on a 1-for-1.
Well, Your Honor,
Okay.
that was going to be my last suggestion. I don't know how it was for you when you were in school, but when I attended undergrad and law school, the common rule of thumb for us was that for every credit hour that we had, we
Right.
should set aside about 3 hours of study per week. Now, I don't know if the court would be willing to grant that much additional time, but I would recommend a 2-for-1 rather than a 1-for-1 system.
Well, it sounds good. Let me see what number she's got. Uh, As soon as you get them, Ms. Luna, let me know about it. I'll leave that open as far as any multiples of actual hours studied. I understand what you're talking about, Mr. Adelman. My schooling was interrupted by the Civil War, but we got by it. All right. Anything else we need to address? Ms. Romo, you need to be
yes, Your Honor.
diligent. You need to continue to be diligent. It looks like you've done almost everything you can, but you were too slow on your CSR hours. Now, I appreciate that you're going to school, and as Mr. Edelman has suggested, we're going to give you credit for that because I think it's good that you're doing that, both for
Thank you, Your
yourself
Honor.
and for the community at large.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yeah.
Okay, Judge. So real quick, I have a question. So on this one, we are not then extending her probation for 8 months. Is that
I,
correct?
I,
We're just,
I think, yeah, I think we're going to for right now, so we can wrap it up now. Once we find out what her semester hours are, we can look at it and calculate it, and we might go ahead and do a discharge. But we'll have,
okay.
I want to see what we're looking at.
And so then her fees are waived as well?
Ms. Romo, you're not employed?
I just started working, sir. I'm a home care provider and I work 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday from 9 to 1:30. And with that money, it's really hard with children to stretch out the money that
All right.
way,
How many,
honestly.
how many children do you have? And tell me their ages.
I have 4 total, 17, 16 today, 13, and a 3-year-old.
You got a little birthday celebrator, huh?
Well, it's kind of hard with everything going on.
I hear you. But I'm saying you have somebody today that's celebrating a birthday.
Oh, yes, 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 definitely. Yes.
Okay. Well, happy birthday to your child. Are you
Thank you.
getting any kind of help from a father or father? Are they all one father or more than one father?
No, sir, they're different fathers.
Okay. Are they providing child support? None?
Well, for the 3-year-old, he's on child support and he hasn't paid anything. But with that stimulus check, I received a little bit of money, which is like 300, I think 25 out of the 1,200.
All right. I will suggest to you and probably even order you to go to the Attorney General's office and see about the other fathers that are being deadbeats. Let me say it this way. Every dollar that the father or fathers does not pay, that dollar is being stolen from your child.
Definitely.
And you're allowing that theft if you don't push them. Now, I did private practice for 41 years. I did a lot of child custody and child support issues. Whether he pays child support or not, if he chooses to, he can still enforce his rights to visitation, etc., unless you have a father that is a drug addict or a violent or a horrible person. that can be managed. But if he's a relatively decent person, he always has the right to see his children, even if he fails to or refuses to pay child support. So be aware of that. Don't be worried about, well, if he pays me, then he gets to see the child. The other side of that is you need to know one thing. If you walk outside right now and a bus runs over and kills you, you know where those children automatically go?
Yes, Your Honor.
To their fathers. So it's important that if possible and reasonable, each child has a something of a good relationship with the father. Now, I understand that there's some that you can't have a good relationship with, or that the child cannot have a good relationship. But I encourage you to be careful about that. If you don't want them around and they're bad people, okay, that can be handled. But the Attorney General can make them pay or put their butts in jail. So it's something that I highly recommend to you that you look into that, because, if you didn't want to touch $1 of support, you could put it in the bank for your kids, because later on, like you're doing, going to St. Philip's, how would you like to have $2,000 or $3,000 sitting in the bank for you? It would help a lot. So anyway, I want you to go to the Attorney General's office on the child support issue, okay?
Okay, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
All right,
Your Honor, may I add one thing?
certainly.
Ms. Romo, I don't know if any of the children have applicable support orders, but if they do, and their fathers have the capability to pay support but simply refuse to do so, that is an offense called criminal non-support in Texas. And if that is the case, then that is something that the district attorney's office should pursue if you bring it to our attention. Now, you're not obligated to do so, but if that is the case, and if you want to, then we will listen.
Well, yeah, I tried to do like a hearing or something with one of the fathers from the 3-year-old, because he hasn't paid nothing in so long. So that's the status that I'm in right now. To, I guess, like a review or a hearing. I'm not exactly sure what it's, but yeah, because I haven't received anything, and it's kind of hard.
Ms. Romo, even on the 17-year-old, if the father hasn't paid in years and years and years, you can get a judgment against him, and then that'll be taken out of his pay and every income tax return and everything that he gets. So be aware.
Yes, he was in prison for about 12 and a half years, Your Honor.
Oh,
Just
okay.
came out, and
Yeah, I've seen a lot of occasions where that has happened, and they put a judgment on them on minimum wage. But minimum wage is what,
$7.
like $300 a week. Yeah, about $300 a week. And you figure that out against 12 years, that's still a big judgment. And
yes.
once in a while, somebody hits a lotto, or they get a chunk of money, or they inherit something, and when that happens, you've got a valid judgment there to hit them with. Anyway, so Ms. Luna, anything else concerning the probation?
No, Judge, I'll get with Ms. Parker and ask her if we'll wait for Ms. Rommel to give her the documentations that you requested. And then once I get that, I will let you know, Judge. And then if so the fees, then we're just not going to worry about them.
No, the circumstance that she's under does not lend itself to trying to push her. She's got her hands full with 4 children with very little support.
Okay,
So
Judge.
we'll waive the fees.
Okay.
All
So
right.
I'll just wait for Ms. Romo and I'm sorry, for Ms. Parker. And Ms. Romo, can you provide that to Ms. Parker today?
Yes, ma'am. The schedule for my school hours.
Or whatever hours that you've completed.
Okay,
The
sure.
total hours.
Okay, I can do something.
Okay. And
All
I'll
right.
let her know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anything else? Anything else, Ms. Luna?
No, that's it, Judge.
All right, Mr. Edelman?
Nothing further from me, Your Honor.
All right. And then that concludes this particular hearing. Thank you, everyone.
Good
And
luck, Ms. Romo. Stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everyone needs to stay on.
Thank you.
The other person's already waiting to enter.
all
Thank
right,
you, Judge. Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. You can leave the meeting, Ms. Romo.
Okay, thank you.
Who else do we have now?
Israel Hernandez.
And what form of meeting do we have with him? Or,
This one's a summons hearing, Judge.
all right.
Is that Mr. Hernandez connecting to
Hello.
audio?
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr.
Your Honor, I'm going to mute myself
No,
until we have confirmation that Mr. Hernandez is represented by counsel for this.
Right.
I'm
that's
not
what-
represented.
Okay. Are you able to retain, or hire an attorney?
I cannot afford an attorney right now, Your Honor.
Okay. Have you filled out an application for a court-appointed attorney?
No, I have not.
Okay. We're gonna have to discontinue this hearing. Stay on, don't hang up just yet. Ms. Garcia,
yes, Judge.
I need you to do some talking with this gentleman concerning his financial situation. And if he is, as he says, he's unable to hire may be one and indigent is another. If you determine he's indigent, appoint an attorney for him off the wheel and then reschedule this hearing for at least 2 or 3 weeks from now.
Yes, sir.
Already?
Yes, sir.
All right, can you and he stay on?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Everybody else just exit.
Okay, Mr. Edelman, you and I and Aileen and Ms. Well, let's see. Yeah, Ms. Luna, you two, you can exit the meeting.
Okay. And Patty will just let me know
Yes.
once she finds out.
All right. Mr. Edelman, anything else?
Nada más de la estado, Your Honor.
Gracias.
De
Caballero,
nada. Adiós. Buena suerte, señor.
gracias
Thank you.
igualmente. All right.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez, can you just talk to your officer once you're done with this? And I'll talk to her